There's no denying it, the indoor bike season has arrived, and now is the perfect time to sort out your training space, ready for some hard workouts, all in the safety of your own home. And we are here to help you find that perfect space for you, so you've got no excuse for missing any future workouts. Let's work through in order. Obviously, first you need to find your designated area, and it really doesn't matter what you've got, whether that's a shed, a spare bedroom, a fully kitted out amazing pain cave, maybe it's your laundry room, or it could be the set. Doesn't matter, it's what you do with it that counts. Obviously, you need to make sure you've got enough space around your setup for your bike and your trainer, and then any additional things such as a fan and a screen if you're using that. And if you are using things that require power, make sure you've got sockets that are in reach or an extension cable. Then you need to actually get on your bike, because what might look like an adequate space, you might suddenly find that actually your shoulders bumping up against a shelf, or maybe your head's in the curtains when you're down on the drops. And the surface. So think about what you set it up on. If you've got a really nice carpet, or whatever the floor, I'd suggest putting down some sort of mat so it protects the floor underneath. And finally, check that your bike is level, whether that's just from sitting on it and getting a feel, or maybe even getting a spirit level, because what might feel fine after a few minutes, after 10, 20 minutes or so, you're gonna start getting rather annoyed if you're on the wonk. You've sorted your space, so now what about the bike itself? Well, if you do have a spare bike, then that's brilliant. Obviously, make sure you get it ready, take off anything you've been using on the road that you don't need, like saddlebag, lights, mudguard, etc., and give it a thoroughly good clean. And if you're using a wheel on turbo and you've got a spare turbo wheel, swap that over now. If you don't have the luxury of that, then it's a good idea to maybe invest in just a really cheap tyre, so you can keep your nice, good road tyres ready to put back on in the spring when you do head back out onto the road. And like I said, make sure the bike is clean, but especially the chain itself. And when you're riding on the turbo, you still want to have some dry lube, and you want to think about protecting your bike as well, especially if you're a really big sweater, you might want to have a towel or something over it, and whatever, even if you're not that much of a sweater, make sure you always give it a good wipe down after every session. We often get questions as to what bike you can use for indoor training. Well, any bike that will fit onto your turbo trainer will work, and that includes mountain bikes. If you have got a direct drive turbo, then you need to make sure that the cassette is compatible. If not, you might need to invest in a spare cassette to swap onto your turbo to suit your bike. If you have the option of a road or a TT, then it does depend on your goals and what riding you might be doing. A road bike tends to be a bit more of a relaxed position, which might be preferable for those long hours of indoor training. That said, if you've got a spring triathlon, then you might want to actually get used to riding in your TT position on your TT bike. Well, I personally have my TT bike set up at home all the time so that it's there and good to go, and it means that my road bike is spare, so when there is a nice gap in the weather, I can actually get out and ride outdoors. But you can also alter your setup to even make your bike in a more relaxed setup than you would have out on the road, so maybe even something like raising the handlebars. Basically, you just want to make it as comfortable as and enticing as possible so that you'll have no excuses for not getting on the turbo. That's the bike all ready to go. So what other excuses could you have? Well, it could be the wrong temperature, or boredom plays a big part as well. So you want to think about your actual environment as to whether you've got some ventilation. If you can open windows, brilliant, or if you've got air conditioning. And maybe you're outside in the shed and you don't need either of those, and it's probably gonna be quite cold to start with, but it's always better to start cold, and you can always have lots of layers on. You can take them off as you go and you warm up, because trust me, you will certainly warm up. And if you've got the option of a fan or being able to put some sort of breeze somewhere in front of you, it makes such a difference. I didn't used to ride with a fan, and when I turned to using one, it means you can just enjoy indoor training much longer. And plan ahead to prevent your boredom. If you're using an online platform such as Zwift, set it up so that it's easy to see, ideally straight ahead of you, so you don't want to be twisting to look at it. And you might well want some form of entertainment as well, whether that's watching something like GTN on YouTube or getting into a box set. Have it in the line of sight, and remember the audio. You're going to need it louder than normal to overcome the sound of your trainer and your fan. And headphones are a great investment. Great for music or podcasts too, and that way you won't be waking up your neighbours on those pre-work efforts. Obviously, you need hydration to hand as well, so you can usually keep a bottle in your bottle cage, but if you're planning a mega session, then it's a good idea to have a few extra somewhere in front of you where you can reach, and some nutrition as well, because you don't want to be getting off if you're doing a key session. And finally, a towel is a brilliant idea, because no matter how much ventilation you have, you're still going to get sweaty, and it's nice just to wipe it off your face and also stop you dripping on your bike quite so much. Okay, you've got everything ready to go, but maybe you're still lacking motivation to get on the bike, as your idea of fun might not be sitting staring at a wall while sweating. Yeah, I get that. I would recommend having a plan and a goal with some structure to reach it. And remember, when you're riding indoors, you're going to be working far harder for the same amount of time as if you were outside, as you're not going to get any freewheeling. So with that in mind, just doing 30 to 40 minutes of riding on the turbo can still give you a really good workout. Or you could look at it as simply a way to recover from a hard run and just using it as a spin out. And before you know it, the time will start to fly by. Well, almost fly by. Basically, you want to have everything set up so that you've got to do minimal work each time. Just simply grab some water, turn everything on, and you can start pedaling. And the happier you are with your setup, the far more likely you are to enjoy it and actually go and get it done. So hopefully this is giving you the motivation to get your setup perfect. If you're really proud of your setup, then please do share it with us. You can do that on the GTN uploader. Give us a like if you've enjoyed it. You can also follow us on our social media channels and subscribe here on YouTube.